What's up, people? Indie Trendy here, back with a interesting video. Normally, I would tell you guys to ignore my background, but we gonna get into it. We gonna get into right into the topic. Cause I just tried to make this video, man. I realized, man, I gotta keep myself on topic, man. I'm a guy, man. I like to just give you my honest thoughts. So I'm not writing down these scripts. I'm just giving you my honest thoughts. And I was about 3 minutes in, and I realized I wasn't talking about a fucking thing. But a lot of these clips are old. Uh, to speed up what I was saying in my earlier attempt, I started off with crossbow, dagger, and ended up just getting a couple drops. And I just kind of followed my drops and switched my build over. Later on, you might see a couple clips from my actual build now. I'm currently longbow, longbow staff, and about 2600 combat power or whatever. So I'm all right, I guess. I mean, I play it. You know what I mean? My build, is or was, however you want to speak on it, was starting to pan out. My guild started doing things. I was enjoying the game, and I'm not one of those gamers that when things slow down, I'm looking around like what happened. On day one of any game that I play, I'm already looking around to see what is gonna make this game unfun for me. I'm that guy. I'm that guy. A lot of people know me. They know that I do not stand around playing one game often. A lot of people who know me know that I switch from game to game quite heavily, and the games that I do end up staying around on, I play quite a lot. A couple, maybe 2 or 3 thousand hours into Warframe, 3 or 4 thousand into Dota 2. I don't even know how many is of thousands in DFO because I don't play it on Steam, but it's probably a couple 4 or 5 thousand in that as well. A couple hundred or so in the league, whatever. The point is, I play a lot of games and I don't really sit around playing games, mostly because I like to enjoy a lot of different experiences. Now, which brings me back to this video. I already knew what the issue, or I thought I knew what the issue would be with this game, and that in my head at the beginning of when I was playing was there was just quite simply nothing to do, in my opinion. You do at the time it was two dungeons at the time, um, and pretty much dungeons and daily contracts. That was pretty much all that it was at the time, and there was only two of those dungeons. So as you can imagine, that content can get a little old. But to my surprise, they was dropping new dungeons and new bosses quite frequently. We ended up, before long, the server that I'm in, Zareth. Before long, we ended up unlocking a lot of their newer bosses, and it's the game started to feel fresh, and I was like, oh wow, you know what? Like maybe I don't mind doing the same content over and over. I didn't mind doing the co-op dungeons over and over. I didn't mind farming dungeons because I was just happy to be getting loot. You know what I mean? I really like getting the purple loot, the purple drops. So I was just happy just getting that. But over time, it obviously that started to slow down. I started to slowly become completely purple slotted. I started to make money and I started to fill my build out. I started to get, you know, 3 out of 3 on all of my traits. My weapons was getting traits. My items and gears and stuff was getting traits. I mean, I'm 2600. I'm not like the most traded out person. Don't get me wrong, but you know what I mean. I'm probably a little bit better than the average. And the fact that I have a 9 to 5 and that I only play this game um, from when I get off, about maybe 3 to 4 hours after I get off, and maybe an hour or two before I go in. So I'm only averaging about 6 hours a day, and I think I was cranking out, decent amount of stuff. I can understand why people are ahead of me, but also I didn't know where to go with my build either. You know what I mean? So I was just a fish out here, just trying to figure out what to do. Um, Yeah, so the thing I thought would kill this game for me would be the PVE content was just lacking. What actually ended up killing it was a mix of the PVE and the PvP. Now listen, I'm no pissy pot poop putt complaining about PvP. That's not what I'm complaining about. I actually enjoy PvP. I play Arena quite a lot. I'm not very well at it. I think I'm about maybe like 10 wins, maybe 25 losses. I'm not really good at it, but I enjoy it. I can take my ass kickings. I don't mind. I figure out where I can have my fun at, and that's just how I work with it. But I don't. Let me just get into what I don't like because I've been yapping. The system of the ebb and flow of these dungeons in this game, I do not like. I don't like that certain dungeons are open and closed at certain times of the day, or especially we all know which one I'm really talking about, Abyssal Sanctum, which has really been ruining this game for me because I got all these fucking contracts I need to go get done in there, and I just can't get in there because it's rarely ever fucking raining every 2, 3, 4 hours. Brother, I have a real fucking life. It should be raining at least once a fucking hour or something. And then once it finally opens, you got is somebody fucking no, I'll get to that later. Once it finally opens, it's PvP for for 80% of it, and then the 10% you might be able to sneak in there, or it might just be PvP the entire time that it was there. So you might just miss out on the fact that it was open altogether, just pissing you off. I don't mind Sir Doma Island, and I don't mind the rest of them. They seem to be open at a decent enough time. I could wait on the night and day cycle, but that rain shit is just unfair. And getting into what really pissed me off recently with these 36 seconds left is we were in a PVE event, and Juno Tabe, or whatever his name is, was in Abyssal Sanctum. Good lord. So now we're trying to go into Abyssal Sanctum and get this event done. But lo and behold, some tryhard guild turned this shit into nighttime and basically screwed us over. So nobody could go do the fucking content because some guild thought it was a great idea to troll everybody. So they turned a PvE event inside of a dungeon. The dungeon was open. Funny enough, I'm not even sure if that dungeon was open, but I'm gonna assume that the dungeon was open. I don't recall it raining, but I'm gonna assume that Abyssal Sanctum was open at that time. To my understanding, in World Chat, people were saying that the guild was killing people off and then standing at the door, basically telling you you can't come in here to get to this PVE event. Then they turned the nighttime. I don't know. It's one of those top guilds, so they turned it nighttime, and then they basically close the fucking dungeon off anyway. But there wasn't even enough of them, so they ended up wiping and couldn't even finish the goddamn boss. So nobody won. We all lost. And there was a lot of people complaining about that in all chat, as they should be. But my thing about it is, bro, you get all these people defending that nonsense. And here's the thing. You can defend that, and you want to say stupid shit like, oh, it's a PvP game. It's a PvP game. What you expect? Yeah, it's also a PvE game. How about that? It should be able to separate the two. There's PvP events, and there's PvE events. Throwing a goddamn boss into a dungeon where people can turn at night and basically block off weaker players because they're there 15 deep is bullshit. And if you want to defend that, that's on you. That's on you. Go ahead and defend it. I will defend your right to defend it. Because as a whatever citizen you are, if you're an American citizen, you got the freedom of speech to at least say so. Or freedom of expression, and wherever you are in the world, you can say what you want to say. But let me tell you this: when this game when the hype inevitably dies, when the train inevitably slow down, and there's no longer 500,000 people, 250,000, 750,000 people, or even goddamn 100,000 people. Once that train slows down, and buddy, it's coming to its stop soon. Enjoy your game with your tryhards, because no one will be playing this shit soon thereafter. I can guarantee you that. unless they plan on fixing that. Because as we already stated, the game is dry in content. There's not really much to do. If you're not PvPing, there's not really much to do. You can go sit there and play them co-op dungeons over and over. Lord knows it takes 40 some odd runs, 50 some odd runs to get what you want. And yeah, I already know the pity system, fellas. Yeah, do every single dungeon 5 times. And yeah, do every single dungeon 5 times, you'll basically get what you want to get. You can pick what you want to get. I understand that pity system. I want to say it's somewhere around about 6 dungeons. I'm pretty 6 dungeons. So if you do them all 5 times, what's that? 35. Yeah, 35 runs basically. Which will, I mean, sounds a lot better than fucking 40 to 50. So yeah, you can get what you want to get. And I'm not complaining about that, buddy. I play DFO. I can give a shit about that. All I'm saying is playing the same dungeon or even playing those dungeons basically 35 times for one drop when there's not much to do in the game anyway, it's going to kill you. The gameplay is fun, but it ain't that fun. Lost Ark was carried by its gameplay. That's how it lasted longer. That's how it's still somehow around. The gameplay is fun, it's intuitive. This gameplay is fun, it's cool, and it brings you back to a simple time, but guess what? There's only so long those rose tinted glasses is gonna be on here. So like I said, anybody defending this these guilds, fucking basically blocking off shit, blocking off content, this Abyssal Sanctum being closed for motherfucking 98% of the day, and the game just basically being unfarmable for people with 9 to 5s, you want to defend that shit, is fine. Go ahead. Just keep in mind though, the casuals always carry content, bro. Casuals always gonna carry the content, because once the casual, yeah, I get it, you spend $10,000 on the game, but if 500,000 casual people, you probably get 30% and spend maybe $20, $30 there, it's gonna add up more than you whales. The casuals will always end up spending more money than you whales. Yes, they should cater to whales. I 100% agree. They should cater to whales, but there also should be a fucking line. Draw a line in the sand. Draw a line. That's all I ask. Thanks for listening to The Rant.